So do you guys remember how I'm considering bringing Liael Odium to Tampa and Chicago this year? Turns out I already have 2 FR Distorted Banes. Alright, y'all already know what time it is. If you looked at the thumbnail for a second or read the title or description or anything like that, you already know what we're talking about today. It is Liael Support Tuesday, and we're talking the time travel one. They're both time travel. We're talking Dark States. Let's be real, I'm a Dark State guy. Well, I mean, I started the game playing Keter, so like I'm equally a Keter guy. Odium time. So we got 4 cards today. Let's go ahead and look at Facebook for once, because what? That's not Odium. Oh yeah, I guess they revealed the new, not Vortex Dragon 2. That's not Odium though, we're not talking about him today. Let's move up. I want to fill up this empty space down here. Oh, perfect. Starting things off nice and simple, we got this cool little birdie here, the Century's Prominence Gear Vogel. What is a Vogel? It's a bird thing. I know there's Vogel rock coaster and that makes me think birds. It's a bird who has a simple but useful skill that on rearguard or guardian circle it gains plus 5,000 for every 3 cards in your regress gauge. Active on your opponent's turn too. I want to say it's fillerish, but at the same time I could see it actually getting use. Mainly because obviously Liael pops off once you hit 5 regress, which is great, but outside of that you really never care about the counter your regress zone. I mean, obviously Distorted Bane, you want to get your Banes there and just pump up the rearguards, whatever, but outside of your Divine skill, you're like, alright, whatever, I put a card in every turn and do a thing. So having a card that gives that passive power / shield for the more the game progresses, it's not bad. Your first grade 3 turn, if you hit a Bane at some point, you should be at 3 already, which makes it a 15-15. Then basically, the second half of your Divine turn, you'll be getting them up to that second threshold, assuming that you want to get your Twin Drive. I guess it's okay. I mean, obviously filler card, but it seems decent for a filler card. Moving on to more Gear Chronicle. I love me a Steam main. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. We are a Steam main in name. We can play some Gear Chronicle probably. Steam, Maiden, Invader Zimry has 2 different skills, and this looks to be our Vanguard booster. Obviously, in most of these new Divine decks, you have a Vanguard boost. It gets +5 when it boosts a specific name Vanguard, and then you do an extra thing with it. Like Blade Myers lets you restand a dude, Levy Dresses gives you an extra attack, and Alden soul charges, I guess. So with this one, we have the same basic first skill, just during the ballot is boosted. If you have a grade 3 with Liael in its name, this gets +5. Cool 13k booster, neato. Definitely helps you get those 28k columns for free, which is great because, once again, Divine skill turn, you are skipping over your ride phase, and you're skipping over everything that matters. So unless you hit circumstances, Odium on your extra turn is going to be swinging base 13. 28k is a lot more threatening. As for a specific skill, when it's boosted specifically a Vanguard with Liael in its name, so doesn't count on rearguard, whatever, you get another +2, which doesn't really affect your numbers at all, going from 28 to 30, but whatevs. And then at the end of that battle, you could retire her to either countercharge or energy charge 3. Full stop, this ability is fantastic. It's a little awkward because Liael doesn't really need energy yet. I know that the Anachronus Colossus does have an Energy Blast 2 for control, but outside of that, the deck itself doesn't really need energy. You just kind of use your generics and your 7 draw card, whatever. That said, giving you that option is great, and you will definitely love the countercharge tier. Once again, Anachronus countercharges, and that seems to really be the only thing that needs it, which is a little weird, but assuming that some of these cards that we're about to read are going to do stuff with Counter Blast or Energy Blast, it's pretty good. And like I said, even if you don't run those cards, generic fodder. Splash in your Energy Grade 1, splash in any of the Grade 2 cyclers for the Persona Ride effects. Use Counterblast 1, do a Counterblast. I don't know, it seems a little weird because this deck does filter to be a little bit more piece reliant than just Dark State pile, but the more you can pile in there, the better off you are, knowing that you are able to get resources back. Never a bad thing, just a little awkward because until we reveal more cards, the deck itself doesn't do too much with those resources. Also, the fact that it retires is a little weird because you don't really care too much about your drop zone other than, once again, Anachronus Colossus. How many times are we going to say Anachronus Colossus in a sec? Moving on, we get into what's probably my favorite card of today's reveal, and that's purely because, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. We have a doll, ladies and gentlemen. We have a in-name Direful doll for Liael. Hashtag Gear Moon Circus. Where's the Alice? There she is. She's just been chilling out the whole time. You know how I am about Direful dolls, Nightmare dolls. About literally Android being one of my favorite decks to format. Let's see what she does. We have Direful doll Patience, because you have patience to use her or whatever. Looks like it's got 2 different skills. First of all, auto when placed on rearguard circle if you have a grade 3 or greater Liael. Cost energy blast 2. There we go, there's some energy effects. Choose up to 1 grade 3 normal order without Regalis Piece from your drop zone or face up in damage zone. Put it to hand, and if you put a card from damage zone, put the top card of your deck into your damage zone. So, I don't want to say a thing, because it's going to make the market crash when I immediately sell the card. But I'm going to have to say a thing. You guys know a very specific little card that everyone started to pick up, specifically for Liael. Something that came out sets and sets and sets ago that has to do with orders that I literally picked up way before that because I wanted to put it in a funny sacrifice class. This guy, Avarice Wrestler. This is the card that lets you basically put an order from deck to drop zone and then play that order for free that turn. Basically running 4 more copies of Disordered Bane, one of the most important cards of the deck. This first skill, that replaced that. This is going to make the market crash, absolutely, for Avarice Wrestler, unless other Dark State decks actually care about still. Oh god, that's actually so good though. The fact that there's no actual cost to this, Avarice Wrestler, you had to discard 1, which, take it or leave it, did stuff once again for Anachronus, Colossus, and maybe Tekken to Valkyrie or something like that, but other than that, you don't really care about your drop zone. This is free, this is just an Energy Blast 2, and then you're able to either retrieve it from your drop zone, which makes drop zone pretty free once again, or damage. That was like one of the things that killed the deck is if you damage your Banes. And you're like, oh no, now I'm gonna have to find a way to heal them and then Anachronus them up there because there's no other way to retrieve stuff from your drop zone. Did Doll do it? Hashtag Gear Moon Circus. We love our Direful dolls here. That's so good. That's so good. Now, I don't have anything negative to say about that. This literally replaces Avarice Wrestler with an adorable Direful doll. Alright, what else you do? During your turn, if you have 2 or more cards in your regress zone, it gets +5. Okay, just makes it 13k, which is alright. You're able to get 2 as early as turn 3, because the grade 2 is able to get you 1 for free. Theoretically, you're looking at 13k grade 1 on your grade 3 turn, which is an extra attacker on its own, or it could be a really good booster. Do you need this is a 13k, then she's a 13k, right? She's also a 13k. I don't know. There might be a thing between like deciding between the Steam Maiden and the Direful doll for deck space or whatever. If that's the issue, as much as I'm Gear Chronicle, I'm probably siding with the Direful doll because she's a lot more impressive. You might run both. You might run both. The important thing is that this is effectively a 13k for free that lets you just run 4 extra copies of Distorted Bane. Super good, super important. I will have patience for your arrival, patience. And then last but not least, this was a card that was actually leaked in last week's episode 1 of the new season of the anime if you guys watched, so you probably already know what it does, but like here's the actual card and actual effect. We have the instant Asunder Colossus, a grade 2 units that looks freaking cool. Another cute robot girl. Has a couple of abilities. A couple of abilities. First of all, in the gauge zone at the beginning of your battle phase. This card is in regress gauge. Counter blast 1. Choose a card from your drop zone. Put that card in regress gauge and put this card on the rearguard circle. Does this remind you of anything? Does this sound like a card that we literally already have? Because we do, and that's a card I mentioned like 20 times already. Ignoring everything else. This is a grade 2 Anachronus, probably a time word, Anachronius. Cronus Dragon. It's the Gear Dragon. The important grade 3 that we need all the time because it gives you early aggression, because it gives you a way to sustain after you already put them in the regress zone. You're just like, alright, what do I do with my second after Divine turn where I can't call anything? You call those out of the Divine zone. You put them in early game and you're like, okay, grade 2 turn, here I go, here's a free unit. This is another copy of that effectively, which on its own, ignoring whatever else you do, means that this is going to be probably another $15 tripleware. Once again, if you want to help support me on this channel so I can afford these things when they come out, make sure to check out my page on TCG Player where I sell card game stuff, or, you know, leave me a tip on Ko-Fi. It's like Patreon, but not as cool, I guess. I don't know. Alright, what else do you do? Rearguard Circle Continuous. If you have a grade 3 or greater Liael, then this gets auto when it attacks, costs Soul Blast 2, and draw a card, and power +5 after my opponent's turn. Okay. I'm a little up in the air about this. On one hand, this is like a better version of Orion's, which a lot of people were running early on. I never really like her just because it runs through a lot of extra hoops to get going. Yes, it's good that on a turn you play Distorted Bane, you're able to plus a card off the top 5, but you know what's plus a card off the top 5 that's not an expensive triple rare and doesn't cost a soul resource? The kitty cat chimera, literally this deck's grade 1. Soul though. Soul is like one of the biggest issues in this deck. Liael does cost Soul Blast 1 for her main ability. The new grade 1 cycle cards are basically going to cost 2 Soul unless you have the Ride Line and Drops in already. One of the grade 2 cyclers costs Soul. I know that right now a lot of people are using both of them in your build. And like the only thing that really benefits from you Soul Blasting a lot in here is just Tech Valcratia. So if Tech Room is the only thing benefiting from a Soul cost, I don't know if you run the Soul cost. That said, because we will be running for these no matter what, because it's another Anachronus Colossus, that means we might be getting rid of some Tech Rooms. So the things that cared about the Soul Blast 2 no longer care about the Soul Blast 2. And your Soul now matters for Liael. I don't like Soul Blast 2 draw card in a deck that can't recover from it. Gear Chronicle, yeah, the GG combo, oh no. Anything that runs Valcratia, anything that runs Zargon, you guys already know what I'm going to say about that. But now that the deck might not, if it's staying pure, if it's running this and Liael's own effect without really having that recovery in there, the extra Soul Blast may not be important, but we'll see. Drawing cards is good. It's gonna really come down to the build and everything, and even ignoring all that, it's still a 15k other copy of Anachronus. It's a cutie little gear robot. So that is all for today. Unfortunately, I was a little deceived because I did think we were also getting some Levy Dress support today, which, no, there's the hero guy there he is. But what do you think? Is Odium playable now? I mean, more than just being tier, I guess it's like tier 1.5. I'm not sold on it yet, but I see quite a bit of success, and like I said, I might be bringing it to regionals. How expensive is the grade 2 going to be? Are we straight up going to be running 8 Anachronus Colossus? If you only had room for one, would you run the Steam Maiden or the Direful doll? Answer all this stuff down below, and while you're down there, make sure to hit that little subscribe button if you're new here. We are getting close to 300, and it'll be great to actually take this thing seriously after about 10 years on YouTube, and why am I not more serious about this thing after 10 years of YouTube? Stay tuned for more new stuff. You know there's no one coming out this week because we are getting a dog deck, we are getting a Kane back, we are getting, oh my god, I can't wait to do that video. I can't wait for that reveal. I hate the fact that I need to pick up Saragons after avoiding them for all this time. But until you guys give me about $120 on TCG players so I can afford those things, always embrace the infinite. Also, I got this one too. I got a silver rare. This is my Radland Liael. It's a silver rare and it makes me happy. No, I'm showing these off on the glary nighttime lighting.